so glad that you joined me today for this video. I feel like I'm too, let me put this down a little bit. There we go. Maybe that'll be better. Okay. How are you all today? I am doing fantastic. And I am off a week in Colorado, and I had the best time ever. And that's why this story today will so grateful you said that. Okay, I hope it is now. Let me know, please, because I've been talking for a few minutes. Oh my gosh, let's just start over. You know what? I'm going to charge it while we're sitting here because that's why you can't hear me. My mic is going off. Hold on a minute. Let me do. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you all can hear me now. Can you hear me now? Please let me know if you can hear me. Oh, that is so fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Oh my gosh, this is twice. So I, as a little girl, was a big time tree climber. Have any of you ever climbed trees, scaled trees, gotten really excited about being high up in a tree? Because we had a big tree outside of our house. And every day as a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old little girl, I would scale this sucker in like 2.2. And I would get to the top and I would stand in this little crevice, like 3 branches, kind of like this. And I was really teeny tiny. I was very petite. So I could stand in this and sway in the wind. And I could see a very beautiful gold building from this tree. And this was my happy place. This is where, you all, that I learned to listen to myself and where I got escape from things in my life that I wanted to clear my head about. Even as a little 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old girl. I don't know when I stopped climbing this tree. But I used to scale this, stand in this tree and sway in the wind and watch this gold building. And I believe this is where I received information about life. And I would question life and I would question things in my life and I would cry up there and nobody could reach me up in this tippy top space. And my mom would freak out because I'm not joking. I was probably 60 feet in the air and I would just stand up in this little space high in this tree. And my mom would see me from her kitchen window and she would think to herself, oh my gosh, Melissa's going to fall. Oh my gosh. And she kept telling my dad that she was afraid, that I was going to fall. And my dad was like, no big deal. No big deal. But see, he hadn't seen me up in this tree before because I would always do it usually when he was at work. And so one day my father came home and he saw me up in this giant, I think it might have been an oak tree, but I'm not sure. He saw me up in this giant oak tree, swaying in the wind in this little crevice. And because I have tiny feet too. And he was like, Melissa, you get down from there right now. Because I was so high up, you all. And I could see so much. And it just made me feel so peaceful to be up there, away from everybody, away from the noise. Even as a little girl, I knew this. And that led to a lot of, I have a high dive story, which I won't tell today. But even as a little teeny girl, as a 3-year-old, I wasn't afraid of heights. I wasn't afraid of doing daring things. I was always pushing my edge. And that's the work I do today, is that if somebody has something that they want to accomplish, I am that person to help you, push you forward so that you can get what you want in life. Because we don't realize, we have not tapped in, most of us, to our human potential and what we are capable of. And when we do this, doors begin to open, things begin to change. So that is my little story of where I began as a tree climber. And so on my page here, when I put on the thumbnail, I put a picture of me going tree climbing. So maybe in your area you can do this well. And I do this as well. I have mentioned many times on many of my videos that there is a thing called meetup.com. And so if you want to be on meetup.com to learn about all the activities in your area, then go on there and search for stuff. And so what I found was I found a tree climbing day that I could go on. And I decided that I would do this. Little did I know this was a precursor to what I would be doing in firewalk instructor school. Yes, I remember you. And so I went to this tree climbing event and we were put in harnesses and we were able to scale a tree and go up into a tree. And these trees are quite large, but we didn't go super high. The guy just kind of wanted to give us a feeling. And see, again, I know how spirit, I call it spirit, the universe works, is that it's always kind of giving you an opportunity to expand. And let me know in the comments if anybody has been through something like this before. So I was given this opportunity through meetup.com to go tree climbing in my area, and I did it. And we only scaled one tree because then the weather turned kind of iffy and bad, and the guy didn't want us to be, while it was lightning, he did not want us to be scaling trees. So I didn't even get the full experience, but I got just enough to remind me of how valuable it is to be in a tree, to listen to a tree. I see faces in trees. I've heard the heartbeat of a tree. And so this is kind of what led me to the next thing. And this was scary for me. I was in a harness and I was on a pulley and I could pull myself up into the tree. But the next time I did this was at Firewalk School. So at Firewalk School, the first night we walked on the fire. And then the next day, one of the guys in our group is an arborist. Actually, two of them were arborists. And they had brought their special gear, their cables, their harnesses, their, what do they call? What are those things called that people use? Their carabiners. And they were going to put all of us up into these trees. And I was a little nervous because these were pretty big trees and I hadn't done this in a while. But remember what I told you a few years before that, I had been prepared. So let me know in the comments if any of you have been through anything like this. I would love to know. And so when we started doing this, when we got about halfway up the tree, and the tree was like 60, 70, 80 feet in the air, they told us to hang upside down like bats. So I did that. I hung upside down like a bat in my harness, and then he pulled me up a little bit, or I pulled myself up to meet him on one of the limbs. And on one of the limbs, he went out really super far. And I only went to like the edge of the limb right off the tree. And he starts jumping on the limb. And he's like, Melissa, come out here. Melissa, come out here. And I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, the two of us together on that limb, we're going to break it. We're going to break the limb. And I wouldn't do it. I was a little nervous, but I did make it up in the tree pretty high. And at this time, you all, I was 47 years old. I was 47 doing this, scaling a tree, jumping on a limb, hanging like a bat. And so if you're a woman over 40 and you think that you can't do scary things or you can't do stuff to push your edge like this, well, you're wrong, because we can do these kinds of things. I mean, I've heard crazy stories of people skydiving at 85, 90 years old. I mean, come on. We are capable. And I always want you to remember how capable you really are. And so I thought in my mind, I was sitting here thinking, you know, I'm a kind of push your edge person, but I've still got that spark within me. And I wonder if people lose that spark. I know, but I've still got that in me. And I can still do hard things because I just did another hard thing that I'll probably be doing a video on just this past weekend. I was in Colorado and I did actually several hard things. One of which, well, probably I'll have a few more stories, but one of which was horseback riding up into the mountains of Colorado, and it started hailing on us. And I'm talking big size pieces of hail were hailing on us and our horses. So I can do that in another video, but these are the kind of things that I like to do. I like to push my edge. So I want to remind you all, because of all of the videos that I do, you know, fear is something that we can hold on to and we can grip onto and not push ourselves out of it. Because if we stay in fear, we stay in comfort. And comfort means we're not growing. And if you're not growing, then you're not expanding. Your soul is not evolving. You're just staying the same. And of course, my work is all about pushing people's edge. And that's why I created Find Fire, because I wanted women to really go after their dreams, desires, and wants, because so many of us have dreams, desires, and wants, and we never chase them. We never do anything to go after it. And then one day we reach an age and we say, well, I guess that's my life, and I really regret this, and I really regret that. And we don't do those things when we could. We need to reclaim our right to be wild and courageous and bold. That is what we need to reclaim. You need to reclaim your power. And I talk about all this. Reclaim your power, rebuild your intuition, and restore grace to your life. So I'm going to ask you, what is something that you've been secretly thinking about doing that's scary, that pushes your edge, or, and I don't like to say this, but I will because people relate to it, getting out of your comfort zone. What is something that gets you out of your comfort zone? Because that's what I want you to challenge yourself with. And so I would love to know in the comments, if you're watching, what is something that you think would push your edge? Now, one of the things I know we were going to do in Colorado was this pendulum swing. It actually goes over the canyon, but we didn't end up having enough time. Now, that would have been something that would have really scared me a lot. And I was contemplating this, thinking, can I do this? But we didn't get the opportunity to do it. But we did several other things that did push my edge. We went whitewater rafting. We did this big, massive hike. And we went horseback riding, which normally wouldn't be a big deal, but it was in a hail and thunderstorm. So, and then I'm trying to think, we went into these baths, these cave baths, which was really fascinating. And I went in through this river thing on my own tube. I mean, so these are all activities that push your edge for me. But I want you to learn do something that pushes your edge and makes you kind of feel nervous and scared and anxious about how you're going to get there. How are you going to get to the other side of the fire? Okay. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Oh, and I celebrated my birthday. So I said thank you to all these people that were celebrating with me or sending me well wishes. But what is one thing that you would like to do before your next birthday that would push your edge? Or if I weren't afraid to be judged or to fail, what would I do? What would push me to do something out of that space that feels safe? And where in my life am I playing small because of my age, my gender, or my story? Ooh, that's a really good one. And what's a childhood joy I abandoned that might still be calling me back? So these are some things I would love for you to think about. But if you are feeling that nudge to do something, let's say before your next birthday, I would highly encourage you to check out my Find Your Fire. If you Find Your Fire program, if you are a woman over 40 and you have a goal, a dream, a desire, a want, something you want to change or something you want to achieve, I created this program, and it's a 5-module self-paced program. You can start it at any time, and you can do it at your own pace. And that is online. And I know a lot of things that people do now are online. I have done a lot of programs myself. I have a lot of certifications myself that I have done online. And so that's why I created this online program, because it's easy, it's convenient. You can do it at your own pace. But this is something that really touched my heart for women. Was I saw so many clients, so many women over the years who wanted to change things. Some of them wanted to get a different job. Some of them wanted to leave their marriage. Some of them wanted to find a new relationship. Some of them wanted to, pursue classes and so I found so many of my clients wanting to do something different, but they just were afraid. And that's one of the things that I do is I will hold space for you. And in the program, there's videos and there is action items that you can do to get to that next space or level or expansion that you really want to go after. And that is what Find Your Fire is all about. It's all about listening to yourself, starting to pay attention to your intuition and taking action on that. But you have to define what it is you want first. We all have to know what it is we want or want to create. And we're all powerful creators. And so that's why I created this program called Find Your Fire. And I would love for you all to check it out if you're interested. Women 40 plus, if you're interested in learning more about my program, you can go to reclaimrebuildrestore.com. That's my website, and you can check it out there. But I also would love to know if any of you are push your edge type of people and have done anything out of the box that's really exciting or scary for you and you accomplished it. I would love to celebrate you. And that's one of the things that we do in Find Your Fire. We celebrate everybody. And every little baby step that somebody takes, we celebrate you because we don't do enough of that. But then we have to keep going. But it's like you got to celebrate yourself and then go on to the next level. Reach that level, celebrate yourself. Go on to the next level. This is how, in my life, this is how I accomplish things. And sometimes it's teeny weeny baby steps. And then I say to myself, you did it. Good for you. All right, now move on. And I would also love for anybody to subscribe to my channel. I come on and do these videos at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every Wednesday. I will be missing a couple of them in September, but other than that, my goal is to be on here every single Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time with some sort of story, some sort of helpful example for you all to learn from me of something I've done in my life or had an experience of that you can relate to. Because I know sometimes people think, oh, I'm alone. It's just me. Nobody's ever been through this. Nobody's ever experienced it. Well, you know what? That's a lie you tell yourself. So really, somebody has been through something similar to what you've experienced. And that is just a game we play with ourselves because we want to try to isolate or deny who we really are or what we're really capable of. So I think that's it for now. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if there's something you've been avoiding because it scares you. And then if you're brave, tell us what it is. Naming it is the first climb. And I've done a lot of climbing in my life, a lot of climbing trees, many, many trees for many, many years. And maybe there's something that you've had to climb that you want to share with us. I would love to know. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for telling me that my sound wasn't working. I am charging my little microphone now, and hopefully it'll be ready for my next video. But just remember to subscribe, and thank you for being here today. And I hope you all have a fire-lit day. It's very, very warm where I am, but it's supposed to cool down tomorrow. And so hopefully you can go find your fire. You can find a fire to maybe light you up to go do something challenging or crazy. And I would love to know about it in the comments. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next video.